Now, on the left, we have Cecilia Bissell, alias Orange Attacker. And on the right, we have, I have no explanation for where I've been for the last hours, and yes, I'll open the store, Clark.
Oh, man.
And in the department of how big of a lie can you tell about going to a dance is Marion E. Clark. Here she is. And so the Inquisition begins right now as members of the extended Clark family ask totally embarrassing questions of this pair of, so you're 86, not quite 87. That's right. And Marion, you turned 85 today. And I flew 3,000 miles to get the goods on you, baby.
It's all so interesting.
I'll tell you what, I'm willing to sell this tape to Smithsonian. Okay, so let's begin with Celia. Now, Celia, did Jack have a big piece of spinach hanging from his mouth, or, B.O., or what? Why didn't you want... What was so objectionable about Jack? Had he not taken a shower in a month, or why did you not want to go out with him?
He was 8 years older than me. I figured he was too old.
And you were 12 at the time. Oh, okay.
I was 16.
You were 16. Well, that made you about a decade older than Mom when she got married. That's all right.
Yeah.
So he was almost decadent. He was about 24, right?
Yeah.
So how did he spot that fox Cecilia Bissell? Cecilia Kyler.
Where were you?
You were Cecilia Kyler.
You were at the dance club, right?
Well, he just kept calling, and I kept refusing, and he kept it up and kept it up.
Now, how did you keep refusing?
Where did you meet him?
You weighed about 78 pounds at the time.
I just said, no, I'm not going. And finally, one day, he caught me off guard, and he said, would you just go to the show with me?
What show?
I said, okay.
After the story about Indiana, we're not sure. We want to hear what show. I think the show may have been in the back of a 39 Ford. Tell us the truth. Was there really a show? Yeah, the show was on Bidwell Street. Okay.
No.
So did you did you go to the Bijou or the Michigan wedding?
It was the Bijou.
Uh-huh. In the far back row.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's what I thought. I've got your number, baby. Okay, and so he took you to the movie and brought you straight home because he was cheating. No. Where did you go after the movie?
Home.
You did?
He did bring me straight home.
You hadn't taken a shower for a week.
I don't remember.
So why'd you let him in the door again? I mean, what was it about him?
Well, I don't know. He just kept calling, and I got tired of refusing. Finally, one day, I thought, well, I might as well go out with him and see.
So you went out, where'd you go the second time?
We went to the Rendezvous Temple.
Where's that? Is that downtown Battle Creek?
Yeah. It was downtown Battle Creek. It was above the pool parlor.
Oh, a classy joint.
Oh,
yeah.
It was a real good dance hall.
Great.
A lot of all the young kids.
And no joke, was the Charleston in at that time? Or what kind of dance?
We were
the Jitterbug?
Beyond the Charleston.
The Jitterbug?
Jitterbug?
Oh, yeah.
Jitterbug?
Blasted Jitterbug.
Okay.
Jitterbug.
You don't like that?
Big band. I don't like to do it.
Did you have a live band? Or did you have the 33? You had 78 then. What, were they playing records or did you have a live band?
No, we have live bands. We don't fool around with records.
Oh.
That was before.
Yeah. It was those poor cheap kids that had to go the place over the Goodwill that had to listen to records.
Before they were really famous, I saw Benny Goodman and all the big bands.
With
Jack
Jack?
Garver used to be my favorite.
But did you see him with Jack?
Huh?
Did you see him with Jack?
Sure.
Oh, you mean you went to Chicago and Detroit and stuff?
No, we went to...
They came to Battle Creek?
No, they went to Crystal Palace at Pawpaw.
All right, so how did Jack get a third date?
Well, they came to Battle Creek. What?
How did Jack get a third date?
He asked me to go to a dance.
At some point, he got a little smoochy-woochy here. Nobody goes out... no point the third time.
I'm not going to go into that.
That's all right. Okay.
So when did you decide he was married?
Let's see.
After the fourth date, he was marriage material, wasn't he?
I think I was about 17 and a half.
Yeah.
You were
And
17.
that's when I started going with him. I knew him about a year and a half before.
So you took a while. Now, Mom got married, and she just learned Dad's last name on the way to Indiana. Oh, okay. And that's how, okay. So I want to know, how did you two get along? You were two lower class Catholic girls, weren't you?
That's right.
And our, the Free Methodists, the Free Methodists were,
Well,
you two were the devil and the devil sub too.
I didn't have a religion problem.
You didn't after Mrs. Clark got rid of you. Now, which one threatened to have you in marriage and all? It was Grandma Knopf, or was it Grandma Clark who found out you were bleeding Catholic? I think Grandma Clark was not happy.
No, Grandma Knopf.
But Grandma Clark was she going to execute you by firing squad? Or was she just going to bomb you? Which one was it going to be? Did it take...
Grandma Clark.
That's right. Grandma Clark was not happy, was she?
Oh, you mean, I know who.
I mean your mother-in-law. Right. When she found out you were a Catholic, she went down and did 49 Hail Marys and ran to the church.
No.
It only took her about, 10 or 12 years to accept you?
No.
No, she loved you right from the start.
Oh, she didn't.
That's right. That's exactly right. She said, Percy, the second coming's not far away because my son just married a Catholic. But you somehow smoothed it over, didn't you? That's the truth.
Pardon?
You smoothed it over somehow. How did you keep your mother from annulling your marriage?
I told her I'd do it again.
That's all right. That deserves some applause. He was such a man. I mean, he was that cool. He was a handsome guy, and you were going to have him. 67 years. You were married and you were married 47 years. This is amazing. All right, so it's question time. I've insulted you enough, and so it's question time from the audience. Who has a question? No insulting questions. Leave them to me.
So, Grandma Nancy, could you please talk about Grandma Kyla?
Okay, but we have to have some rules. Please, before you ask your questions, state who you are.
I'm Sarah Lynn Hanford Henderson, Marion's granddaughter.
That very good.
And I'd like them, Grandma Nancy, to talk about your Grandma Kyla and their dad.
Well, I'm Marion, and I had a father that was just a prince.
That's sweet.
Because
And I'm going to have to change batteries here in a minute, so keep going.
that doesn't mean that he was not strict, because he was. And
what was his name? Herbert.
Hubert Frank. And he saw to it that we were clean, and we had clean clothes, and my mother and he were divorced. And we were everything to him. He worked hard.
What did he do for a living?
Well, he made concrete and poured it for septic tanks. And he drove this Neebies, their truck, and delivered the tanks. And he was just a fine, upright man, and he saw to it that we went to church on Sunday, and religion was a big part of our bringing up.
That's very sweet. And how do you remember him, Aunt Sally?
Exactly the same way. Exactly the same way.
That was very sweet.
So this is Sarah Lynn again. Can you tell the story about when he went to the Ford's house?
Oh, yes. He had poured this concrete for this septic tank, and Henry Ford had built a home for his grandchildren, a playhouse. It's called. Do you remember this? Right? And they called Neathies. And of course, the kids had everything. You know, we didn't have anything.
Yeah.
So my dad said, "How would you like to go and see this nice house that Mr. Ford is building for his grandchildren?" So I went with him, and it was just gorgeous. You know, maybe it wouldn't be gorgeous today, but it was the first Coke I ever had.
Really? You should do a Coke commercial. Yeah. Like a Coke and Fortune.
That is, I've never heard this story.
That would be cool.
Did you go in, Celia?
Somebody
You didn't go?
email Coke.
Wow.
Alamo, Bill Ford.
That's the first Coca-Cola. All right, next questioner. I've got to change the batteries here in a minute.
Okay, I want to know.
Who are you?
Kelly Clarkwitt.
Okay.
And I want to know, what was your best vacation that you and Grandpa and you and Jack went on?
Oh, we had so
many good ones.
She and I would. Oh, see, I should tell. We went. She and I got up early, and we took the boat. And I don't know what the guys were doing. Hunting.
And where was this?
This was up in Gwynn, in the Upper Peninsula. And,
Of Michigan.
yes.
Right.
And we got out on the water, and we just put the anchor down, you know, and it was a good spot. And there was houses all along. And here comes this old man with not a thing on. Yeah, he came right down that thing, and we couldn't believe it. Yeah, well, he had an outdoor house, must be, you know, back house, but he never had anything to put on there. He was just going like this.
He was a real swinger.
Well, he was.
So I know his real name was Richard. But everybody around just called him Dick.
I don't know what his name was.
Needless to say, we went down there every day.
I can't hold the camera.
Well, we did. He didn't come out every day.
But you waited all 24 hours to see it just in case you did.
We went down there to fish, and it really was good fishing.
It sounds like it.
I've got some pictures to prove it.
And so says she had some pictures to prove it.
I got some pictures to prove it. There was.
Grandma, I want to know, Auntie, I want to know, is that picture in your digital picture frame?
That's probably one I couldn't find.
So where was one of your best vacations in Philly?
Oh, it was, I don't know, it was up there, and then when we went to, Louisiana, and we went to the Mardi Gras. Oh, that was so much fun, and we had such a good time. And I've had so many I couldn't pick them out, really.
Mom, you really ventured a long way from Gwynn. I mean, every once in a while you go as far as Marquette.
Well,
You ventured as far away as Marquette or Escanaba once, didn't you?
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
And you like Las Vegas, right?
that
Oh yeah.
that thing
Stardust.
that you have, that trade, and months.
Oh, yeah.
That, we drove up to Copper Harbor.
Copper Harbor.
950.
Those are mine, those are on loan.
Okay, next question before my battery runs out.
I'm teasing.
I've got another battery, and my battery's about to run
What's
out.
the best town in South Dakota to go pheasant hunting?
Redmond?
And didn't Jack Bissell, your husband, and my father, John Clark, go pheasant hunting in central Michigan often?
Oh,
They used to go to Mason.
Mason, Michigan.
It was up near Lansing.
and I've got a picture of
Kitty and Merle.
Kitty and Pearl. Yeah.
Okay. Next question.
Did we ever get an answer about Grandma Pilot?
No.
No,
Could you
never
talk
did.
about Grandma Kyla, please?
Yeah, so you want to look at that?
Gosh, what can you say? She was always there. Always there. Whatever the problem, she had some little saying that led up to the solution, you know? And,
Like, tell me who you go with, and I'll tell you which.
yeah, oh yeah.
Oh,
Things
really?
like that.
Is that where you got lines like any port in a storm?
Yeah,
That's right.
Okay, now what's that line? Any port in the storm?
yeah. Yeah.
I can think of some other ones that I probably shouldn't put on tape.
No, don't.
Not from Grandma.
You'll blink too if you're well fed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but my grandma never said that.
No.
You said that.
If she said it,
Yeah, I
she'd say it in French so we couldn't understand.
Oh, she spoke French.
And she said a lot of things in French.
No, this is your dad's mama.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and she was crippled.
Mhm.
She didn't, she
Yeah.
wasn't able to do anything. If we had a garage with an outhouse in it. And that was as long, as far back as I can remember.
How was she crippled? She had a hard time walking, or?
Yeah, she had varicose legs. Things.
I think that's where I got mine.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us about your first job. First job that you recall.
My first job was in Clark's restaurant.
Wonder Bread.
Babysitting. Oh yeah, Wonder Bread.
You worked at Wonder Bread? You worked at Wonder Bread? I never
would like
knew
to know
that.
that.
Taylor went down to this barbecue place in Revere Beach. And they cook this barbecue on the side of the highway. And we go down there. He's like, Mom, you have to take me down to this rib place. And it's not the best part of town. I'm like, all right, let's go down there. We go down there. We come out. And he's like, they give him this barbecue, this huge plate of barbecue and this bread. And he's like, this is the best bread you've ever tasted in your life. I'm like, what is it? And he's like, Wonder Bread. You can get that at Publix. No. Yeah.
So what did you do at Wonder
We worked
Bread?
at Wonder Bread.
Well, when we left Detroit and came to my mother's in Battle Creek, we knew we had to work. And so this lady, I don't know if she was a customer at the store or what, but anyway, she worked for Wonder Bread. And she hired people to introduce Wonder Bread to the citizens of Battle Creek. And I don't know how much I got. I don't think it was very much. But
They gave away samples, you know.
So you went door to door, you mean?
Yeah.
And Celia, what was your first job?
Housework, kids.
You ended up being a nanny to like 6 or 7 kids, didn't you, on Bidwell Street?
No. I stayed there through high school until I graduated.
And you got $2 a week, didn't you?
Yep.
I recall.
But I had a wonderful family.
Why did they decide to overpay you? I'm not sure I understand.
Hey, you were lucky. Well, I had room and board. And I wasn't.
Is that where you got
I
those
was
oranges?
one of the family, you know.
yeah, they were wonderful.
They were wonderful.
Do you remember their name?
Yes,
Campbell.
Campbell.
What's
Kid.
the name?
In fact, one of the Campbells just passed away.
Campbell?
Richard, probably. I don't know. But,
Do you remember, either one of you remember a really funny story about any of your children that you want to add to history?
don't
And
you think
remember,
we've
I'm the
added
editor. I remember that I learned to kick field goals over the power wires at your home from David Bissell, your son, and I realized I was left-footed. I could not kick with my right foot, and David said, well, dummy, use your left. And then I could kick field goals. And David was left-footed, so I'm a right-handed guy, but I'm left-footed, which is really weird. But certainly you have some stories. Yeah, it is. I'm left-footed. Weird.
Yeah.
They're not willing to tell stories.
And Seal, why don't you talk about your job at Kellogg's?
Yeah,
What
tell
did
us
you do
about
at
Kellogg's.
How many years did you work there?
29.
29 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, I did most of the job I liked the best was the packing,
Yeah.
you know. But I did the fillers, and I did the makers where they put cartons in, you know, and stuff like that.
And so elaborate on that, because they don't, you know, they've never seen the cereal factory.
Didn't you used to go to work at 4:30 in the morning, that kind of thing, or 5?
I got up at 4:30. I had to be there at 6.
6 to...
6 to noon,
Good.
and it was ideal. Ideal.
Perfect.
Because
Great job.
you had time for your family,
Yep.
yourself, your work, you know, and you still had time to sleep.
Yeah.
It was really great. Yeah, I wouldn't have traded that job for anything.
When did they switch over to 8 hours?
2 years before I retired.
It's a perfect job for a woman, wasn't it, really?
Oh, it sure
And when
was.
did you retire? Do you remember what year you retired?
81.
1981?
And
So
how much
everybody works
cereal
6
did you
hours?
eat a day?
Everybody works 6 hours?
Everybody worked. Well, the men, they finally went to 8 hours. Because a lot of them were working double shifts, you know, and they finally went to 8 hours. And then as healthcare and everything went up, little by little, you know, then they got after the women to do it. And so they could eliminate one whole group. And that's when I decided I'm getting out of there because I'm not working 8 hours.
Yeah.
8 hours when you get 2 breaks plus your lunch. And you're constantly moving with those lines, you know, and packing and stuff like that. It's tiring.
Yeah.
And 6 hours was enough. I was fine. But 8 hours.
But how much do you pay for your medicine, Seal?
Beg pardon?
How much do you pay for your medicine?
$2.
Isn't that great? That's awesome. And it's still from your insurance from Kellogg's.
Yep.
And here and this is July 31,
But I
2008.
walked the picket line for 6 weeks for that.
That's awesome.
Yep. for
Wow.
that prescription drug stuff.
And it was a successful strike?
You bet. Hey, when they're putting out that much cereal in 24 hours, they don't let you stay idle for long.
Right.
Yeah.
So how many scoops of cereal did you eat a day? Like, you know, like Lucy, who like pops some chocolates. Did you pop some cereal?
Anything I worked on, I liked it. Except Fruit Loops. I don't like them.
You don't like Fruit Loops
No.
either. But I have to let you know, Ed, we just bought a box of Fruit Loops, so we're helping contribute.
Well, that was the one, there was too much orange in it,
Yeah.
and I'm not crazy about orange.
Neither was the guy you hit with it.
If it's got a little vodka or something in it, I like that.
If it has an adult version of Fruit Loops, what's your favorite Kellogg's cereal?
Huh?
What's your favorite Kellogg's cereal?
Oh,
If it were, yeah.
mini wheats.
Mini, I like those.
I love those mini wheats, but not with the cinnamon, just the
The regular
outer
mini.
crust. Yeah, I like those.
Me too.
But you know what? I still think maybe that's what's kept me healthy.
Really?
Because, you know, I would eat, if I was working Raisin Bran, I'd eat a handful of that every now and then. if I was working all brand, I'd eat a little bit of that. Well, by the time you got done in 6 hours, you had all the roughage you need. So, I still think that helps.
You two are just a barrel of income. We better get them on TV.
Yeah.
This is really good. So
I'll make people say just one handful. She'll say just 3 handfuls a day.
okay, one final question from the gallery. One final question from the gallery.
When did you open the store, Marion?
Oh, good question.
We bought it in 44.
Bought it
I
from,
think.
it was already established business. So.
No,
What was it? 54 or 44?
54.
54, right.
Yeah.
From Albert Welch. And then you went from 6 hours a day to 15 hours a day.
At least.
Right.
How long
And
did you
tell
have
people
the
what the
store?
store was.
44 years.
Oh yeah, you should say what it is.
Explain what the store
explain
was.
the store.
What was the store?
Carpet and drapery.
You sure can.
Clark's
Oh,
Carpet
yeah.
and Drapery.
This is Natalie.
And in the four, in
Oh, man,
Time out.
it's only for Grandma.
Natalie, happy birthday.
Put her on.
Yeah, let's ask Natalie a
Yeah,
question.
put it on speakerphone.
Oh,
Oh, fine.
And tell her,
Yeah,
Jen, what
let me
we're
sit
doing. Tell her what we're doing.
Oh, your dad's gonna put it on speakerphone.
Tell her what we're doing, Jen.
Alright.
Yeah, she needs to ask a question.
No, tell her that.
Tell her, Jen, what we're
hey,
doing.
Natalie,
Hi.
Hi, Natalie.
well, Uncle Jerry is interviewing your grandma and Aunt Seal, asking them all sorts of interesting historical questions.
It's on videotape.
But
That's on videotape. So, what would you like to ask Grandma?
What would I like to ask Grandma? That's really kind of putting me on the spot.
that's the whole point, Natalie.
Let's think about it for a minute.
What would I like to ask Grandma? How mad was your mother at you at age 15?
That seems to be the question of the
You
night.
haven't got time enough for me to tell you. Oh, boy.
That seems to be the question of the night.
Did you ask that numerous times?
Pardon?
Did other people ask you that question?
No.
Oh.
Your mother's sitting right here.
Are you having a nice evening?
Just wonderful.
Oh, good.
Had a wonderful day.
I wish I was there with all of you.
Well, I
She was here too.
Miss you, Natalie.
Tell Natalie what we did today, Mom.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, tell her what we did.
Oh, I can't
Oh, no,
imagine.
you can pick it up and talk. Pick it up and talk. Yeah, it's easier to pick up and talk.
Oh, we had a really, really nice time. We went on a boat. We toured Seattle, and then we went on the boat, and
Saw the Blue Angels.
we saw the Blue Angels, and they're having this weekend. What's the name of this?
Seeker.
No, Seafair.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what they're having this weekend. And came back to the house. Just the girls took a nap. And,
She said she wanted to
oh, that was wonderful. Salties. Is that
Yeah.
Yeah, salties.
Salties. And had a wonderful dinner.
What was the thing you had your head here?
And we came back and like I told you, that we had the girls had a little nap, and I talked to Jerry for a while, and here we are sitting at the table again.
We're eating again.
Yes, I did. It was just wonderful.